As Jose Azocar caught the baseball for the final out, I think I could hear all of San Diego exhale at once. What a ball game in Kansas City as the Padres beat the Kansas City Royals 11-8 to begin this three-game series. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. As we wrap this one up, we've got a lot to do. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. I think we may have a record number of highlights coming up in our game recap a little bit later, and so we'll get you involved as well as we wrap this one up. A really, really nice and memorable win for the Padres in a number of different ways as the Padres score 11 runs on 18 hits, and that's really just the start of the story in this one here tonight. So let's talk about where this game, how do I even put it? Is it fair to say this game just got drunk at one point in the eighth inning? I mean, that's what it felt like. Okay, so let's start here. The Padres are trailing 3-2 going to the top of the eighth inning. And we've talked about it many, many times. When the Padres offense is at its best, it's an offense that strings hits together. It's an offense that, quote unquote, passes the baton. It's an offense that, quote unquote, moves the line, however you want to put it. The Padres trailing 3-2 in the eighth inning against John Schreiber on the mound for Kansas City. They ended up putting together 7 consecutive singles to start the eighth inning, and in the process took the lead with those 7 consecutive singles. But that was just the start of the story in that eighth inning. The Padres putting together what would become a game where they trailed 3-2 at the start of the top of the eighth inning. The Padres had a 9-run, 11-hit eighth inning. A new franchise record. We saw something that had never been done in Padre history until tonight. An 11-hit inning. They had put together a handful of 10-hit innings in franchise history, but never an 11-hit inning until that eighth inning. And in the process, the Padres turned what was a 3-2 deficit into an 11-3 lead. Just an unbelievable eighth inning. There were guys with multiple hits in the inning, including Luis Arraez, who, oh, by the way, ended up with 4 hits on the night. Another 4-hit game for Arraez. That sort of got lost in the shuffle of everything that happened in the final 2 innings of this game. Jerkson Profar had 2 hits. Jake Cronenworth had 2 hits in that eighth inning, and we will recap that eighth inning in its entirety coming up in a little bit, I promise. But even the eighth inning was just the start of the story in this game, because then we get to the ninth inning. The Padres have a very, very comfortable 11-3 lead. Anytime you have an 8-run lead and you got to get 3 outs, that's pretty comfortable. Well, things did not go well for Stephen Kolek in that bottom half of the ninth inning. Robert Suarez ultimately has to come on with the tying run on deck, because then it becomes a save situation. So Mike Shildt did exactly what he should have done. Got Robert Suarez loose again and brought him in a save situation. But even after that, Freddie Fermin, the 2-run single to make it a 3-run game and bring the tying run to the plate in the bottom of the ninth inning, as if that wasn't dramatic and nerve-wracking enough. Then the fly ball from Nelson Velasquez. He's 3-4 feet short of a home run in left field. I'm telling you right now, as Jesse's making the call and we're sitting here in the studio, myself and Nick DiNucci, our studio coordinator, the emotions that you started to feel as that ball was in the air, the 6 seconds of hang time that ball was in the air, you're thinking, there is no way, this is not happening, this is not real. But thankfully, Azocar in Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium had just enough room to make the catch, and the Padres do pick up what was a super memorable win for so many different reasons. But let's be honest, heading into the top of the eighth inning, this was a relatively simple, relatively well-pitched, and relatively quick 3-2 game. Kansas City in front. And then I don't know what happened after that. In the eighth inning, this game went totally off the rails. In the best of ways for the Padres in the top of the eighth inning, and then nearly in the absolute worst of ways in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Can you imagine if that ball got out off the bat of Velasquez, what we would be talking about right now, depending on how the rest of that game went? So, look, the eighth inning, magical. The best inning the Padres have had all year. A historic inning, truly. 11 hits in that top of the eighth inning. And that is where the Padres offense is absolutely at its best. We've said it time after time after time, now 60 games in. This offense, and they do this on the road a lot. It's something they do on the road that they've struggled to do at home, but you'll take it. But this offense is at its absolute best when it is just moving the line and stringing hits together. 11 hits in that eighth inning. 10 of them were singles in that eighth inning. 9 runs scored. At one point, the Padres had 7 consecutive singles to start the inning. There was still nobody out. And I'll just go through the box score offensively here quickly. Arise, 4 hits, 2 RBIs. Tatis, 2 hits, an RBI. Profar, 3 hits, 2 RBIs. Cronenworth, 2 hits, 3 RBIs. Profar and Cronenworth had 2 hits in the inning, so did Arise. Machado, 2 hits. Solano, how about Solano? Again, he just continues to hit the ball. 2 hits after not starting this game. Came in to pinch hit, and guess what? Donovan Solano ends up going 2 for 3 in this game. Jackson Merrill had a couple of hits. Ha-Sung Kim had a base hit in this game, and a couple of runs scored. That eighth inning was something to behold. It was nearly matched with the bottom of the ninth inning, but that is neither here nor there. Final score, Padres 11, Royals 8, and I'm telling you, when Azócar caught that ball and left, I could hear it here in the studio. You could hear all of San Diego, a lot of Southern California just taking one big exhale, because that's what it felt like. That was a fun one. It really was. What a wacky final couple of innings as the Padres beat the Royals 11-8. Padres now 31-29. Royals dropped to 35-24. That was a fun one. I don't know what happened in those final 2 innings, but we will tell you all about it when we come back. We'll have the radio highlights. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, and much, much more to get to. We're just getting started on our post-game coverage. We're back after this on the Padres Radio Network.